My name is Roy Berman. I'm originally from the US, from Montclair, New Jersey, just outside New York City. And I'm currently doing a master's degree at the Graduate School of Education at Kyoto University in Japan, where I'm studying in a history of education course, mainly concentrating on education during sort of 20th century pre-war colonial Asia, specifically Japan's colony in Taiwan and the American colony in the Philippines. That's the focus of my own research, kind of comparative look at those two regions and how education was related to the colonial policy and the politics of that time. Yeah, people say in Japan that in America it's easier to get into a university and much more difficult to graduate, whereas Japan is kind of the opposite. Whereas in Japan, it's very difficult to get into a university, but not particularly hard to get through and graduate. And that's actually true to a large degree, and which kind of reflects the sort of some of the underlying differences in the educational system and the employment system. Whereas, one feature of Japanese education, which is partly reflected in Taiwan as well, and Korea and some other parts of East Asia, is this very, very heavy emphasis on entrance exams. I mean, university in Japan, it's basically one stop along this this career track, where you go from the various levels of education and then sort of seamlessly flow from that into the corporate world. I mean, that's an oversimplification, and the system, it's not quite as concrete as it was, maybe a decade ago, when Japan's economy was a little bit more certain. But there's still, very much a sense that you're sort of going along, the stages of the training and career track. And Japan has had this reputation for most of the post-war period of lifetime employment, where you get into a job in a good company or government or some organization like that, and you pretty much move up that career track from the lowest level to to retirement, of which university, and particularly that job hunting phase that I mentioned, is one of the essential phases. And so the problems with the university to a large degree are related to the problems with the employment system as a whole, in that there's not a huge amount of flexibility in Japan in terms of changing jobs mid-career and utilizing the experience that you have in one job to get a better job somewhere else, as opposed to simply moving up the career track within a company from being a trainee in, say, one office in Toyota, and then moving around throughout the company and eventually becoming an executive. There's much more of that than there is really getting your experience in one company and then moving on to a different company.